But we thank the Lord things as well as it is. And we got about a minute. Don't forget the program. Don't forget Elder Kane Borkin's program, May the 6th, I believe it is. And come early. Come early. Come early. The $10 tickets are gone. And they have the $15 tickets. Singing Mims has them, and I believe they got some at the car wash and whatnot. And we just want y'all to sit back and absorb our buddy, Miss Tika talk. Amen. And her husband and daughter. And we do thank them for what they contribute from their heart, from the Lord, and we ask God continue to bless doing the good work. You know, she could be doing other things out there, but she see fit for the good Lord to be able to work with her on this occasion. And so we just want you to get ready as we get ready to go into
I hope it's record right.
Ticket Talk.
We'll know after.
Welcome to Tika Talks. She touches on everyday topics and issues in our lives, encouraging and uplifting. And now, without further ado, introducing Tika Talks.
Good evening, great people. I am Tamika Marable King, and thank you for tuning in to Tika Talks. So, today I am going to be talking about open wounds and the healing process. You know, I had something totally different in mind that I had kind of thought about, decided I was going to do. And then while writing, God gave me this. There are a lot of us who suffer or have suffered an injury that led to an open wound. And of course, an open wound is where the skin has been torn or cracked. Now there is such thing as a closed wound too, but you know, I'm referring to the things that we experience or that we have suffered that have left an underlying issue. Things that allow us to be exposed in ways that we may not want to be. So, you know, if somebody has a wound or an injury to their skin and it's open, the tissue beneath it is exposed to the environment, which can cause all types of problems if not addressed, you know, the proper way. And in the same way, the things that we suffer and endure that leave us broken, angry, feeling just betrayed and often in a very dark space. You know, God is saying he is available to heal you properly. Sometimes we just want to do things on our own accord, on our own watch, and pretend that we're okay as it relates to the things that we've experienced. There are some things that you know when they take place are definitely stepping over the line. And so we don't need to try and pretend that we're okay when people cross us in that way, when people hurt us. And when I say hurt, I'm talking, there has been people who were abused physically in relationships, physically by their parents, people who were raped, molested, addicts of any sort, you know, just things that take place that we don't necessarily know how to fix it. And the reason we don't know how to fix it is because we're not the fixer. God is the fixer. Right. So we're always so busy trying to do the work ourselves when we need him in order for the work to really be done. That's right. But of course, if you were attacked and you suffered some injuries, they wouldn't even begin to heal if you didn't address them. If they weren't washed, if you didn't clean the dirt and the debris out of them, they wouldn't even begin to heal. So in the same way, whatever mess is attached to you because of something that you've experienced, and You know, I'm not saying whatever the experience was that it was okay, because I'm sure it was not. You know, sometimes people think that you try to dilute what they've experienced because you don't necessarily stay stuck on what they've experienced. That's not the case. And even with God, he's not saying that he's not concerned or that he doesn't care. You know, he's just going to take that bad situation and turn it around for your good. So, you know, healing is big. But again, it's a process. First, you got to recognize the wound. You got to recognize the injury. You got to recognize the hurt and the pain that you are suffering, and recognize what you're suffering from and why. You know, so once you recognize that, then it's the time to begin the process of trying to heal. The process of allowing God to cleanse you in that area so that he can do the work for you. I'm telling you, understand that there are scars that are left behind whenever we are wounded. And some, you know, for me, having a C-section with one of my children, that's a good scar to me. You know, I'm okay with that. But then there are scars that we experience that you sometimes don't even want to be reminded of the hurt or the pain that was inflicted upon you. You know, and it seems really bad and really unfair. And sometimes we just struggle to let those things go. But in order to really grow, in order to be blessed, in order to walk in your purpose, in order to get in the right lane, you're going to have to start the healing process. You're going to have to let it go. You're going to have to give it to God. You're going to have to let him do the work because he's capable.
Yes, he is.
You know, he is our healer. So I have to look to him, because there are many, many times that I know I've experienced, you know, physical pains and emotional pains. Emotional pains are big. You know, to me, they're bigger than the physical pains that we suffer. There are things, I don't even know who came up with sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
I remember that.
Okay, that was an inaccurate thing to say. It's impossible to not be affected by the words of other people. And so, you know, we have to watch what we say, how we say it, and to who we're speaking it to.
That's right.
You know, we speak things over each other that we should not. Those things cause wounds. You know, and so learning how to be controlled by the Spirit so that you don't say what you shouldn't say, or you choose not to do what you shouldn't do, is necessary. It's dire that we begin to do this. Yesterday I was at an adult summit, and the speaker was so good. And she was just talking about her own journey, just giving us snippets about her upcoming book. And she was talking about the hurts and the things that she'd experienced and her process of healing, and where she began to realize that she was suffering from depression and how she needed God to heal her. You know, sometimes we don't even recognize the thing that ails us.
That's right.
You know, you're thinking, I'm strong, I'm fine, it's A-okay, everything is all good, and you're just walking around, you know, functioning at your best in the presence of other people. But at night, you are crying yourself to sleep, or you are struggling to get any rest. And, you know, that affects us in every aspect of our being. It is God's job to do the work that we need, but we also have to be willing to allow him to do the work. You know, so you got to stay out of his way when you know that you've been affected in a negative way, when you know somebody's hurt you, or, you know that, okay, I experienced this, and, you know, the things that I've experienced, y'all, some of which God has not allowed me to begin to even testify and be transparent enough to share. But I do know that he has healed me. So when given the green light to be able to share the different things in more detail, I will do that, but only if led by the Spirit to do so.
That's right.
You know, but I know that sometimes we just want to be so strong, and we just want to be so tough, and we feel like we have to put on a show for other people. God is saying you don't have to put on a show for anybody.
No.
That you can take the mask off, because you aren't the only person suffering. You are not the only person who needs to be healed. And so, you know, we need to learn to lean on each other. We need to learn to uplift one another. Pray for each other.
Yes.
You see people going through things, making poor choices, doing these negative things, or even if they have suffered, the loss of a spouse. And when I say loss, I mean their spouse walked out on them. Mm-hmm. People are quick to judge, talk about the other person, talk about what they're choosing to do. Are they dating? Are they not? Are they sleeping with somebody new? You're going on and on. Nobody's choosing to pray. Mm-hmm. It's just, they're just the laughing stock. It's funny. It's, it wouldn't be me. My husband or my wife wouldn't do that to me. Mm-hmm. You don't even know.
That's right. That's right.
So, take your mouth off of people.
That's right.
Get on your knees and begin to pray for the people that you see that are being affected constantly by so many different things.
Yeah.
I thank God for the healing that he does. In anything that we suffer, I know that he can turn it around because I'm a living witness. I am, good God Almighty. He definitely, and I know I wasn't the worst person in the whole world, but I'm just saying, when you experience different things in your life, you feel the weight of those things, and they become very heavy until you release them and give them to God.
That's right.
And sometimes the healing process is long. Sometimes you'll be tested time and time again. And y'all already know until you pass the test, you keep repeating the same test.
That's right.
You're not promoted to another level until you can pass the test of where you are.
That's right.
So, I think with the healing, you also have to, include forgiveness. Mm-hmm. We are, just by nature, forgiving people is a very difficult thing to do. And we're quick to say we forgive, but then our body language says we do not. Mm-hmm. The words we say behind the person's back say we do not. Right. The way we think about the people that may have done something, again, is saying that you have not. So you got to forgive. I got to forgive. And I'm talking about every day. And y'all know I go back to forgiveness a whole lot. But I think it is so big as we serve God. Because if we want to truly be serving God and we want to really be doing the work that he has called us to do, we got to forgive people. And we got to forgive them all the time. And some people will do some really jacked up things. The latest headline on the news was the young girl who lost her life to the hands of her at the hands of her mom and her mom's boyfriend. Mm-hmm. I cannot even begin to imagine the type of pain inflicted on that child, the suffering that she was having to endure, and sometimes when we witness or hear of those tragic things, some people are swayed in their belief.
That's right.
I believe God, I believe in him. Some things happen that we will never understand. And then some things happen that I think he's always trying to get our attention, and as easily as we were able to spread that on social media, or not myself, because I'm not really big on sharing a lot of videos, but if the people who were willing to share and seeing the situation, hearing the father cry out in the courtroom and the things of that, y'all, pain runs so deep. Yes, it runs so deep. And if we do not address it, and if we do not heal from the aches and pains that we suffer, we're going to cause other people to suffer. We're going to suffer ourselves. Because I have found that any time that I was dealing with some type of stress or anxiety or pain, that I was quick to inflict pain on other people, even if those were my children. And, I'm not meaning physically, right. Although I did spank them, I'm not saying that I didn't, but there were times that verbally, I probably went off and said things that I shouldn't have just because of the pain that was in me. So that radiated to the outside. The things that were affecting me began to affect the people around me. So I'm praying for God to begin to cleanse, heal, and help us to forgive this week. Oh, yeah. There are so many things that we are capable of doing, so we don't need to be burdened down or weighted down by the things that are not of him. And to stop staying in the places that mean us no good, that continuously cause our suffering and the hurt that we feel. I don't have time for that anymore, I thank God for healing me.
Amen.
I'm thanking God for the healing that you all will receive on this week. And it starts today. You know, we just make a decision.
That's right.
And when we decide, Lord knows there's just nothing that you cannot achieve once your mind is made up. And so just make your mind up that you're tired and you're ready to move on and let God do it. He's here, he's waiting, he's willing. Y'all know what I say. I absolutely love you. Thank you for tuning in. I want you to do what you do best, that is being you. God bless you. This week, let me just shout out Miss LaShanta Tatum and Tamara Litch. They were both at the Adult Summit on yesterday, and you guys, you did not come out. You definitely missed a treat. I was very blessed. It was awesome. There were many people who chose to get up and speak, and God bless each and every one of them because they all had something great to say. I just think it was awesome. I think for the future, when she has these adult summits, y'all make sure to come out. Y'all make sure to join and support. It's a blessing. All right. So with that being said, and vote for Mr. Lawrence Aycock, District 22. He was in the building yesterday as well. So y'all make sure y'all register and go out and vote. Okay.
Amen.
Your voice does matter per Lawrence Aycock. Okay.
It does.
All right. I love y'all.
Love you.
Again, we thank God for Tika Talk, and she's sharing some things that she have experienced. Sometimes we are hurt and we're afraid to say anything. We're smiling, and when you go into the room by yourself, you're hurt so bad. Amen. And we need to pray ye for one another. This world system is really out of hand. The kids in school, they are killing one another.
Right.
So it's time. This day is the day of salvation. And we do thank Tika Talk. We thank her and her husband and her daughter for coming by, dropping in and dropping the word. Because you never know, somebody could be out in the street drinking wine and somebody told them they ain't no good. And hopefully this will help them out.
That's
And
right.
God is a healer.
Yes, he is.
He is a truly healer. We thank you in the name of the good Lord.
Thank you.
Thank you for
That's right,
tuning
Deacon.
in.
That's right.
Join us each and every Sunday at 6 p.m. on WCLN
All right, that was good.
1170 a.m.
Thank you.
Channel 16 Cable TV.
Bye. 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 Bye.